Assalamu alaikum and welcome, everyone. Today we're exploring the Islamic perspective on social justice, a topic deeply rooted in Islamic teachings and vitally relevant to our contemporary world. Social justice in Islam isn't a modern concept or a response to Western philosophies, it's integral to the faith since its inception over 1,400 years ago. The Arabic term often used is al-adl wal-ihsan, justice and excellence, which appears throughout the Quran and Sunnah. The Quran states clearly, indeed, Allah commands justice, excellence, and giving to relatives, and forbids immorality, bad conduct, and oppression. Surah An-Nahl 16 Ayah 90. What distinguishes Islamic social justice from secular frameworks is that it's divinely ordained rather than socially constructed. It balances individual rights with collective responsibility, material with spiritual considerations, and immediate needs with long-term societal development. In this video, we'll explore the foundational principles, historical implementation, and contemporary relevance of Islamic social justice through various dimensions, from economic justice to the protection of marginalized communities. Let's begin our journey through these principles that have shaped Muslim societies for centuries and continue to offer powerful insights for addressing today's social challenges. Justice, ADL, as a divine command. Justice in Islam isn't merely a philosophical ideal but a divine command. The Arabic word ADL appears over 28 times in the Quran, emphasizing its centrality to Islamic ethics. The Quran states, "O you who believe, stand firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah, even if it be against yourselves, your parents, or your relatives." Surah An-Nisa 4:135. This verse reveals something profound. Islamic justice transcends personal interests, family ties, and tribal loyalties. In pre-Islamic Arabia, justice often depended on one's tribal connections, but Islam revolutionized this concept. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, demonstrated this principle when he said, "By Allah, if Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad, were to steal, I would cut off her hand." This powerful statement shows that even the Prophet's beloved daughter would not receive preferential treatment under Islamic law. Justice in Islam has both procedural and substantive dimensions. Procedurally, it demands fair processes and equal access to legal remedies. Substantively, it requires outcomes that align with divinely revealed principles. Ibn Taymiyyah, the renowned scholar, summarized it beautifully when he said, "Allah upholds the just state even if it is led by unbelievers, but does not uphold the unjust state even if it is led by Muslims." This divine imperative of justice provides the foundation for all other aspects of social justice in Islamic teaching and practice. Human dignity and equality. The concept of human dignity, karma, is fundamental to Islamic social justice. The Quran states, "We have honored the children of Adam." Surah Al-Isra 17 Ayah 70, affirming the inherent worth of every human being. This dignity isn't earned through wealth, lineage, or social status, it's divinely bestowed on all humans. From this principle flows Islamic teachings on equality. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, addressed this powerfully in his farewell sermon, "O people, your Lord is one, and your father, Adam, is one. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have superiority over an Arab. A white person has no superiority over a black person, nor does a black person have superiority over a white. Superiority is only by righteousness and God-consciousness." This revolutionary declaration of human equality came at a time when rigid social hierarchies dominated most civilizations. Islam established that the only valid hierarchy among people is based on moral conduct and God-consciousness, taqwa. The Quran states, "O mankind, we created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Verily, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you." Surah Al-Hujurat 49 Ayah 13. This principle transformed social relations in early Muslim society, where former slaves like Bilal ibn Rabah became respected leaders. It continues to challenge Muslims today to examine and dismantle unjust social hierarchies based on race, ethnicity, gender, or social class. Economic justice foundations. Economic justice stands as a pillar of Islamic social justice. Islam recognizes private ownership but views wealth as a trust from God that carries responsibilities. The Quran acknowledges, and in their wealth there is a recognized right for the needy and the deprived. Surah Ad-Dariyat 51 Ayah 19. Islamic economic justice rests on several key principles. First, wealth should circulate throughout society rather than concentrate among the few. The Quran criticizes hoarding, and those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend it in the way of Allah, give them tidings of a painful punishment. Surah At-Tawbah 9 Ayah 34. Second, Islam prohibits exploitative financial practices, particularly riba, usury/interest. The Quran states, Allah has permitted trade and forbidden riba. Surah Al-Baqarah 2 Ayah 275. This prohibition prevents wealth accumulation without productive effort and protects vulnerable members of society from exploitation. Third, Islam establishes that natural resources ultimately belong to the entire community. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "People are partners in three things: water, pastures, and fire." This hadith establishes the concept of public goods that should benefit everyone. These economic principles laid the groundwork for sophisticated economic systems in Muslim societies that balanced free enterprise with social responsibility centuries before similar discussions emerged in Western economies. Economic justice mechanisms. Islam doesn't merely advocate economic justice in theory, it establishes concrete mechanisms to achieve it. The most prominent is zakat, the obligatory 2.5% annual charity on wealth that exceeds one's needs. Zakat isn't voluntary philanthropy but a divinely mandated redistribution of wealth, one of Islam's 5 pillars. The Quran specifies 8 categories of zakat recipients, focusing on the poor, needy, and marginalized. As Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab implemented it, zakat became so effective that during certain periods of Islamic history, poverty was nearly eliminated in Muslim-governed regions. Beyond zakat, Islam encourages voluntary charity, sadaqah, and establishes the endowment system, waqf. Historically, these waqf institutions funded hospitals, schools, libraries, and public infrastructure throughout Muslim societies, creating sustainable social welfare systems. Islamic inheritance laws also prevent wealth concentration by mandating its distribution among multiple heirs, including female relatives, a revolutionary concept in 7th century Arabia. Additionally, Islamic teachings regulate fair market practices. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prohibited price manipulation, monopolistic behavior, and fraudulent transactions. He established market oversight through the institution of Hizbah, where officials would ensure ethical business practices. The Prophet also specifically addressed labor rights, saying, "Pay the worker his wages before his sweat dries." This emphasizes prompt and fair compensation for workers, a principle that resonates strongly with contemporary labor rights movements. These mechanisms created economic systems that balanced wealth creation with social responsibility. Care for the marginalized. A distinctive feature of Islamic social justice is its special concern for marginalized groups. The Quran and Sunnah give particular attention to those at society's periphery. For orphans, the Quran establishes strict protections. Indeed, those who devour the property of orphans unjustly are only consuming fire into their bellies. Surah An-Nisa 4 Ayah 10. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, promised, "I and the caretaker of an orphan will be in paradise like this," holding his index and middle fingers together. For widows and the elderly, Islamic teachings emphasize community responsibility. The Prophet said, "One who cares for widows and the poor is like a warrior fighting for Allah's cause." For people with disabilities, the Prophet demonstrated inclusion by appointing Abdullah ibn Maktum, a blind man, as a muezzin and temporary governor of Medina multiple times. This established a precedent of full participation in society regardless of physical ability. For travelers and strangers, Islamic hospitality traditions ensure protection and care. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever believes in Allah and the last day should honor his guest." For prisoners, Islam mandates humane treatment. During the Battle of Badr, the Prophet instructed, "Be kind to the prisoners." This comprehensive concern for vulnerable groups distinguished early Muslim societies and established standards that were often centuries ahead of their contemporaries. The underlying principle is that a society's moral worth is measured by how it treats its most vulnerable members. Women's rights and gender justice. Gender justice is integral to Islamic social justice, though this dimension is often misunderstood. When Islam emerged in 7th century Arabia, it introduced revolutionary rights for women. The Quran explicitly affirms women's spiritual equality. Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while being a believer, we will surely grant them a good life. Surah An-Nahl 16 ayah 97. Islam granted women economic rights that were unprecedented. The Quran states, "For men is a share of what they have earned, and for women is a share of what they have earned." Surah An-Nisa 4 ayah 32. Women could own property, inherit, and conduct business independently, rights Western women wouldn't gain until the 19th to 20th centuries. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, elevated women's status in marriage by requiring their consent and forbidding forced marriages. He said, "A previously married woman should not be married until she is consulted, and a virgin should not be married until her permission is sought." Female education was emphasized in early Islam. The Prophet said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim," a statement that explicitly included women. His wife Aisha became one of Islam's greatest scholars, transmitting over 2,000 hadith. Historically, Muslim women served as scholars, jurists, philanthropists, and occasionally political leaders. Figures like Fatima al-Fihri, who founded the world's oldest university, University of Al-Qarawiyyin, exemplify this tradition. While cultural practices have sometimes contradicted these principles, the Islamic framework itself provides a solid foundation for gender justice that Muslims worldwide are increasingly reclaiming today. Environmental justice. Environmental justice might seem like a modern concept, but it has deep roots in Islamic teachings. Islam views humans as stewards, khalifa, of the earth, responsible for its preservation. The Quran states, "And do not cause corruption on the earth after it has been set in order." Surah Al-Araf 7 ayah 56. This corruption, fasad, includes environmental degradation and exploitation of natural resources. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established conservation zones called Hima, where natural resources were protected from exploitation. He declared the entire city of Medina a sanctuary where trees couldn't be cut and wildlife couldn't be hunted. Islamic teachings promote sustainable use of resources. The Prophet said, "Even if the day of judgment were to be established upon one of you while he has a seedling in his hand, he should plant it." This emphasizes the importance of environmental stewardship even in the face of apparent futility. Water conservation is particularly emphasized. The Prophet advised moderation in water use even when performing ablution from a flowing river, establishing a principle of avoiding waste regardless of resource abundance. Animals' rights are also part of Islamic environmental ethics. The Prophet prohibited killing animals except for legitimate needs and forbade hunting for sport. These principles formed the basis of environmental regulations in historical Muslim societies. For instance, the Ottoman Empire had detailed environmental protection laws, including regulations on industrial waste disposal. In today's climate crisis, these Islamic environmental principles offer valuable guidance for sustainable development and intergenerational justice, ensuring that current generations don't deprive future ones of natural resources. Political justice and governance. Islamic social justice extends to political governance through principles that limit power and ensure accountability. The Quran commands leaders to judge with justice, Surah An-Nisa 4 ayah 58, and establishes consultation, shura, as a governing principle. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established a participatory community where major decisions involved consultation. The early caliphs continued this tradition. Abu Bakr, the first caliph, began his leadership saying, "I have been appointed over you, though I am not the best among you. If I do well, help me, and if I do wrong, correct me." This established crucial principles. Rulers are servants of the community, not masters, they are accountable to the people, and citizens have the right and duty to correct unjust leadership. Islamic political ethics prohibit nepotism, corruption, and abuse of power. The Prophet warned leaders against taking gifts, recognizing they could become bribes. Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second caliph, required governors to declare their assets before and after holding office, essentially creating the world's first wealth disclosure requirements for public officials. The concept of bay'ah, pledge of allegiance, in Islamic governance isn't unconditional submission but a reciprocal contract. Citizens pledge obedience while leaders pledge just governance according to divine law and public interest. Scholars like al-Mawardi developed sophisticated theories of political accountability. The legal maxim Tazarif al-Mamala al-Ra'aya manat bil maslaha states that the leader's authority over the people is conditioned upon public welfare. These principles established standards for political justice that continue to inspire governance reforms in Muslim societies today. Rights of minorities and religious pluralism. Islamic social justice extends protections to religious minorities through the concept of dhimma, a covenant of protection. While historical implementation varied across time and regions, the foundational principles established important rights. The Quran clearly states, "There shall be no compulsion in religion." Surah Al-Baqarah 2 Ayah 256, this established religious freedom as a principle of Islamic governance. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established the Medina Charter, Sahafat al-Medina, often considered the world's first written constitution. It guaranteed religious freedom to Jewish tribes and established a pluralistic society based on shared citizenship rather than religious uniformity. The Prophet specifically warned against mistreating religious minorities. "Whoever harms a dhimmi, protected non-Muslim, has harmed me, and whoever harms me has harmed Allah." When Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab conquered Jerusalem, he guaranteed safety to all Christian inhabitants and their churches. The Pact of Umar established that non-Muslims' places of worship would be protected, and they would have autonomy in religious and personal status matters. During the Islamic Golden Age, Jews and Christians served as ministers, physicians, and scholars in Muslim societies. In Andalusia, Muslim Spain, Jewish culture flourished, creating what some historians call the Golden Age of Jewish culture. These principles created societies where religious diversity was protected by law, a remarkable achievement considering the religious persecutions common throughout much of world history. While historical practice sometimes fell short of these ideals, the Islamic framework itself established principled pluralism that continues to offer guidance for diverse societies today. Justice in conflict and peace. Islamic social justice extends to times of conflict through comprehensive ethical frameworks that limit warfare and protect civilians. The Quran establishes, "Fight in the way of Allah those who fight you but do not transgress." Indeed, Allah does not like transgressors. Surah Al-Baqarah 2 Ayah 190. This "do not transgress" clause generated detailed ethical constraints on warfare. Abu Bakr, the first caliph, instructed armies, "Do not kill women, children, or the elderly. Do not cut down fruit-bearing trees. Do not destroy buildings. Do not kill sheep or camels except for food." These instructions established protection for civilians, infrastructure, and the environment during conflict, principles that predate modern international humanitarian law by over a millennium. Islam also established humane treatment of prisoners. The Quran directs, "Feed, for the love of Allah, the needy, the orphan, and the captive." Surah Al-Insan 76 Ayah 8. After the Battle of Badr, the Prophet allowed prisoners to purchase their freedom by teaching literacy to Muslims, transforming captivity into educational opportunity. Beyond regulating conflict, Islam emphasizes peacebuilding. The Quran states, "If they incline toward peace, then incline toward it, also." Surah Al-Anfal 8 Ayah 61, the term sulh, reconciliation, is central to Islamic conflict resolution, emphasizing restoring relationships rather than merely ending hostilities. The Prophet's farewell sermon established the sanctity of human life. "Your lives and your property and your honor are sacred to each other." And there you have it. We hope you found this information helpful and thought-provoking. Our goal is always to provide you with content that both informs and engages. If you enjoyed this video and found value in it, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to hit that like button. Your positive feedback helps our content reach more viewers who might benefit from it. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. We release new videos regularly and would love to have you join us on this journey of discovery and learning. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care and stay curious.